Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. It's our Friday tradition, and happy to have you with us once again, as always, here on Hockey Sense. This show is brought to you by First Community. Like I said, sign your son or daughter up for Little Blues and do it today. It comes with everything, all your equipment, including your skates, your stick, your helmet. You don't have to go to the hockey shop and get your son or daughter all suited up and try to figure out what do they need, especially if you're not sure. You don't have to worry about that. With Little Blues, it all comes to your house in a big little box, or I shouldn't say big little box, that wouldn't make sense, but in a big box. All your equipment's in there. And it's easy. 6 on-ice sessions, great coaching, a ton of fun. You can do more than one session. If you're between the ages of 4 and 9, no previous organized hockey experience, then you're eligible. Sign your son or daughter up today before you invest thousands and thousands of dollars in hockey, which a lot of us are doing. Find out if they like it, if they want to do it. Chances are they will. I'm just warning you. But it's a great program. I did it with my son, a couple of different sessions, and so many other kids that he plays with now got started with Little Blues, brought to you by First Community. So sign up today. Check it out, firstcommunity.com. You can always go to the Blues website as well. Randy Gersh, everybody there with the Blues, they do a great job supporting youth hockey, and obviously the Little Blues program is a big part of that. All right, the Blues win last night, 5-1 the final against Seattle. Are they going to do this again? Are they just going to go on some crazy run here post-Olympic break? I'm telling you. We saw this last year with the Four Nations. And I do believe this year is different. I'm not expecting the Blues to, even a crazy run, they could win every game. And I don't even know if that would get them in the playoffs. Last year, they almost won every game, and they had to wait to the final day to get in. So winning every game probably doesn't get you in the playoffs, but it's just such a Blues thing to do where all of a sudden they flip a switch and play incredible hockey coming out of the break, although they've got a lot of road games coming up. And listen, they've been a good road team the last handful of years. So, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they win games on the road either. But there's a different level of confidence that you saw with this team yesterday. So we'll see how this continues moving forward for the Blues. It's just one game. But it was great to see Dylan Holloway back in the lineup. He makes such a big difference. And we just haven't seen Dylan Holloway healthy. What does he miss? Like 23 of the previous 24 games or 24 of the previous 25 games, something like that. Prior to playing last night, gets 4 points in the game. His first ever career 4-point game, second career hat trick. And he and Pius Suter obviously look like they had some chemistry. Holloway's got chemistry with so many different players. He had chemistry last year with Shen and Kyrou. They had great chemistry together. You could see him playing with Robert Thomas when he comes back. Thomas is expected to be in the lineup tomorrow night. He had to leave for a family issue. So we're thinking about the Thomases and everything they're dealing with right now and looking forward to seeing Robert back here in St. Louis. But it was great to see Dylan Holloway, man. It felt so good for him. You could hear it in his voice. I interviewed him twice last night during the game. One during the first time during the first intermission. Then he was the number one star, so we did him on the bench for post right after the game, after he was announced as the number one star. You could just hear how grateful he was just to be back out there and how tough it was for him to rehab the injury. So it was great to see that from Dylan Holloway. A big shout out to him. Kyrou gets another goal. It just looks like now the Blues have something going with the line combinations as long as they can stay healthy. Matthew Joseph, the Blues did make a move yesterday, and you just kind of had a feeling a move was coming, especially after they brought Jack Finley on board. And you may have to see more moves coming on, especially with Thomas coming back. You got Sundqvist, obviously. He'll be returning to the lineup as well. We'll see what this team looks like. We're about a week out from the trade deadline, and by that time, I guess we'll have an idea. I don't know what to think for the trade deadline. I know everyone's asking me, and people say, hey, we're going to see a ton of movement. I don't know how much we're going to see. Is this going to be like what we saw a few years back when they moved Tarasenko and Mikkola and O'Reilly? And, they really got out in front of it then. And we'll see if Doug Armstrong does that now. But I'm not expecting Robert Thomas to get moved. I don't expect Jordan Kyrou to get moved between now and the trade deadline within the next week. I guess anything's possible, and it could certainly happen. But these are more complicated deals. The Blues obviously want to make sure that if they do that, if they make a move like that, that you're putting yourself in a better spot than you are right now. Let me say this, and hear me out. The last thing you want to do as a general manager this season is panic and start trading away a bunch of guys. This is the weirdest year. It's the strangest season. I don't think the hockey's been great this year. Other people might argue. I talk to NHL players. They all tell me that the pace of play is down in comparison to what we see before. And a lot of it, if not all of it, has to do with the condensed schedule. You've got injuries. I mean, teams are playing 15 games in 30 nights. It seems like every time the Blues play a game, the team that they played the previous night or is about to play their third and four nights. It's just tough to sustain a high level of hockey. Look at how many teams that were projected to be playoff teams or even contending teams that aren't even in the playoffs right now. I mean, it's crazy. I think people had the LA Kings as a playoff team. They had Winnipeg as a playoff team. They had St. Louis as a playoff team. Did everybody have Seattle as a playoff team? I'm watching Seattle last night. I don't think Seattle's very good. I've watched them now play back-to-back games. I watched the game against Dallas, too, the night before. And, or whoever they played the night before. I'm trying to remember. Was it Dallas? Now you got me wondering. Because I did watch. Yeah, it was Dallas. Yeah, just making sure I wasn't thinking something else. But anyway, I don't think it's been great hockey this year. And so when you look at it and you see Anaheim, who is going to be a good team, but they're in third place right now in the Pacific, 1 point behind Edmonton. Edmonton loses one game. The next game they come back and they win 8-1. I mean, they just completely pummeled the Los Angeles Kings last night. But you look at the Eastern Conference, Washington out of the playoffs. Florida out of the playoffs, Toronto out of the playoffs, New Jersey out of the playoffs, the Rangers, one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. So what do we make out of the NHL this season? Do we really have a full read on how good these teams are just based on everything they've gone through? I don't know. I don't think the hockey's been great this year. I think it's kind of been a mess, to be honest with you. A lot of injuries, a lot of bad teams playing better than you expected, a lot of good teams that you expected to be good, having terrible seasons. I mean, Winnipeg's a perfect example who wins the President's Trophy last year. You just saw what Connor Hellebuck did at the Olympics. Are they all of a sudden that bad? Like, what is going on here? So, again, you just don't want to make panic moves if you're a general manager. So getting back to the Blues, yeah, you may move on from some guys. Listen, if you have players that you don't think are a part of the plan moving forward, if you don't have plans to re-sign Justin Falk in another year, your captain Braden Shen, and these guys are obviously interested in going to play elsewhere and playing in the playoffs, then I think you have to explore what's best for the organization. But to move core pieces, you better make sure you're really setting yourself up moving forward. I had an NHL scout say to me last night, I don't understand this team. What is wrong with the Blues? Why have they had such a bad year? And it's interesting when somebody who works in the business, they ask you that question and you really want to give a full detailed answer, like you can speak to them openly. It's hard to put your finger on it. It really is. I mean, obviously the goaltending hasn't been great. They haven't been good defensively. Special teams haven't been good. You look at how many games the Blues have gotten completely blown out this year when they've lost games by 3 or more goals. The number of games that they've lost leads in the third period, where they've lost games when leading after 2. I mean, it's just been a real strange season. So I don't know what to think. But I will say this. Once you strip it down, you're not getting it back anytime soon. it's hard to get it back quickly. And so I don't know how many moves we're going to see. I was talking to somebody yesterday who said, I don't expect to see too many moves. Other people would say, well, no, I expect the Blues to be really busy. Are you going to trade Jordan Binnington right now? A lot of these moves could be done into the summertime, too. I think you open it up to a little more teams. I think in the case of when people talk about Kyrou or they talk about Thomas, these guys have full no trade clauses. So they're obviously going to have some input as to where they go. But, you know, and I think you have to treat a guy like Shen and Bennington as if they have a full no move. I mean, they've earned that level of respect from the Blues organization, even though they have limited no trade clauses, modified no trade clauses, whatever you want to call it. Um, I think you have to give them the respect based off of everything they've accomplished, what they've meant to the organization, what they've meant to the city. If you're really considering moving them, I think the Blues obviously will work with them to move them to a place that they want to go to. If we even get there. Again, we'll see how it all plays out. I don't see Binnington being moved. How many teams truly need a goaltender? And why the hell would he want to go to Edmonton anyway? You watch Edmonton play, and I know he just played with Connor McDavid and all that. From what I understand, I've said it several times, I don't believe Edmonton is an option for Jordan Binnington. Now, that could change, but in terms of his no-trade protection, I believe that Edmonton is on that list. I believe Ottawa is on that list. If you're a team trading for Jordan Binnington, you're trading for him to help you get over the hump and get to the Stanley Cup final. Go deep in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Have a nice run in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's not a team on the outside thinking, okay, we're going to go get Jordan Binnington to help us get in the playoffs. He doesn't have any interest in going to a team that is just a playoff contender. I think he'd want to go to a team that's a cup contender. How many of those teams need goaltenders? Tell me. And why would he want to go to Edmonton anyway? Because they have Connor McDavid? I mean, that's a good reason, actually. Yeah, you got Leon Draisaitl, you got Connor McDavid. I don't trust that defense. Do you see them the night before against Anaheim? Brutal. Uncle Darnell Nurse, man. Again. Just turning pucks over. I would not be so quick to go to Edmonton if I'm Jordan Binnington. Everyone throws that out there. And I think it's just wishful thinking on behalf of a lot of Edmonton fans who want to see Jordan Binnington come into Edmonton and help save the day. I wouldn't bank on it, though. Although you never say never. So we'll see how that plays out. Falk and Shen are the two players that I'm paying closest attention to, in addition to some other guys. I mean, sure, Oscar Sundquist. I'm sure there would be a playoff team. Maybe they would have some interest in bringing him on board. I mean, the Blues went out and got Jack Finley. You think the reasoning for that, a big part of it is knowing they may lose Oscar Sundquist. So, and I didn't mind Finley last night, got some PK time. He's not going to wow you. He doesn't have like the greatest offensive skill. He's not the best skater, but he's a long body. You he and Torpchenko killing penalties together. There's not much room with those long sticks. They take up a lot of space. So I need a few more games to really truly evaluate him. But, so far so good. That was a good start for him last night here in St. Louis. But, Shen and Falk, those are the two players that I'm paying closest attention to. I think anybody should, because they're the biggest names that I think have the highest percentage or most likely scenario for them to be moved. You got Alexander Steen involved here, too. I think it's almost as if he's got to be able to make these decisions. And Doug Armstrong's the general manager. He's going to call the shots, and I get it. But he's working so closely with Steiner. This is going to be Steiner's team now moving forward, even though Army's still going to be here as president of hockey. And listen, everything's going to cross his desk before any decisions are made beyond this season. But when you have Alexander Steen moving into the GM seat, and you're talking about adding players from other teams and moving on from players from the current roster, he's got to be able to sign off on that. because this is going to be his team. It's going to be his roster. He's got to be able to have a strong say as to who he wants or who he doesn't want. And so I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it's going internally. So we'll see what they can get for some of these guys. Patrick Laine is another guy that could get moved. Montreal's trying to move him. Rantanen obviously is injured. Dallas is going to be an interesting team to pay attention to. Bobrovsky is an interesting goaltender. Who would you rather have if you're a Stanley Cup contender and you had the option to go get Bobrovsky, who's going to be a UFA at the end of the season, or Jordan Binnington? Who would you rather have between Bobrovsky and Binnington? And I know Binnington has another year left in his contract, so I'm not even like including that as part of the scenario, the fact that he has term left. But I'm saying for a run this year, who would you rather have between those two goalies? And obviously the Blues have Joel Hofer here right now, who I think they feel like has number one potential down the road. I think he certainly does. I don't think there's any question. This guy is so good. I think Joel Hofer could be an absolute superstar when it's all said and done. But I always pump the brakes when a guy just has never been in that position. He hasn't had to be that guy. And Joel Hofer hasn't had to put the team on his shoulders or carry that type of pressure down the stretch where the games are so meaningful. But it doesn't mean that he can't handle it. Eventually, you're going to have to turn it over to him. But the Blues don't really have a third goalie in the organization unless Romanov is a guy that they fully believe is capable of coming up here and being a backup goaltender. You would think if they move on from Binnington, they're going to have to go find a guy to sign during the summer to bring in somebody in that $1.5 million range that they could bring in that could give them, obviously give them some quality play as a backup goaltender. In terms of Tristan Jarry from Edmonton, I mean, they're going to have to move on from him if they bring in a goaltender. And the Blues wouldn't have any interest in taking on Jarry. If you're going to take on Jarry, you might as well just keep Binnington. Jarry makes more than $5 million per year. He's got term left on his contract, too. So that's not a move that Doug Armstrong and the Blues are looking to make to bring Tristan Jarry here to St. Louis. And who wants him anyway? It was a strange situation the other night when he got pulled with like 5.5 minutes to go. So, anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now. I do like the way the Blues are stacked with their lines right now. And they have something. I mean, if Suter, who's such a good player, he can play with anybody. I love his game. I love his confidence. I love the way that he played, obviously, in the Olympics. And listen, if the Blues wanted to move Pius Suter, they certainly could. I mean, he's a guy you could certainly move. But you're not getting a first-round pick for Pius Suter. So say you get a second-round pick or you get a good prospector. Aren't you better off just keeping him? I mean, he's a quality player, gives you a lot of versatility. He can kill penalties. He's gritty. He gets to the front of the net. He scores important goals around the net. And he makes, a little over $4 million, and he's under contract next year. He's a guy that I would want to hang on to. Matthew Joseph, it was just a matter of time. And I believe this non-roster situation for him just basically means that if he clears that he can't come back to the NHL roster. So he is essentially done as a member of the Blues, I would think. And you just wonder if this is going to turn into a Brandon Saad, Alexander Texier situation where he ends up terminating his deal. If he does, it's amazing that the Blues find themselves in this situation again, and they're able to get these guys to terminate their deals so they don't have to pay him. They didn't have to pay the rest of Texier's deal. They didn't have to pay the rest of Brandon Saad's deal. And it's worked out for both of them, really. They both found homes and are playing. Saad scored the other night for Vegas. Texier obviously has been in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens. So Joseph, I believe, is an NHL player. He can play in the NHL. And I don't think it does him any good to go down and play in Springfield in the American Hockey League. And I would assume that he has zero interest in doing that. Knowing Matthew Joseph, he's not doing that. He's not going down to the American League to play the rest of the season. And in reality, if he wants to play in the NHL next year and fetch a contract this summer, I think the best way to do that would be to terminate your deal, sign a contract with another team, and hopefully be on a team that can get into the playoffs and you show enough that you can get a contract next summer. But I think his days of making $2-3 million a year, those are probably long gone. I didn't mind Joseph. Listen, he's not the most heady player. He doesn't have the highest level of hockey sense. But when you skate at the level that he can, you're going to get opportunities to play in the NHL. He is an unbelievable skater, brings great speed. Um, but again, it just became a numbers game. There was no longer a spot for Matthew Joseph on this team. And you just got to make tough decisions and you got to move forward. Obviously, if they could have moved Matthew Joseph, they would have. But no one's taken that contract. But they would sign him for whatever, 900 or whatever, and pay him a prorated salary of $900,000 on a prorated salary for the rest of the season. Maybe prorated at 1.5 or 1 million, whatever it is. We'll see how that plays out. We'll find out more today. After this show is released, Joy Dunne is on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Big shout out to Joy, part of the Dunne family, wins a gold medal for Team USA and the women. We haven't even talked about the Olympics. I'll do that with Jamal coming up next. I know so much excitement on social media. People are so loud on social media. When did Canada truly become like that? And I will say this, man, my experience with Canadians, and I know a lot of Canadians, and I talk to a lot of Canadians. The Canadians that you see on social media and that you read about in the news, they just don't represent the Canadians that I talk to or that I know personally. They're like completely different. So listen, it was a great Olympic tournament. Canada got the silver in both the men and the women ice hockey tournaments. And this was USA's year. At some point, you knew USA was going to crack through on the men's side. I know everyone talks about 46 years and all that, but think about all the years where there were no NHL players participating. But the years that they've had USHL or NHL, not USHL, NHL participation, they've made it to the gold medal game on a couple of occasions, right? 2010, 2002. People act like just USA has been terrible. But I'm just disappointed in some of the reaction from Canada. I mean, come on. And not everybody loves 3-on-3. I don't love 3-on-3 either, but it is what it is. And there was just as much of a chance of Canada winning and USA losing as there was for USA to win the game. They just happened to be able to score first with Canada's best players on the ice. And if you're going to beat Canada, that's the best way to do it. Do it with McKinnon. Do it with McDavid. Do it with Makar. All these guys on the ice, the 3 M's. And they were all responsible. You look at the 3 Canadian players, they all had a hand in the goal for Team USA. So, listen, we certainly aren't going to get political here, but everyone's getting so angry. We understand a lot of Canadians hate Trump and all that, and I get it, but like I just want to focus on the hockey side of it and not make it so crazy. What did I read today? That somebody found a cut-up jersey of Quinn Hughes right in front of the Hockey Hall of Fame. Like, people can't be serious. Come on. Just because of a hockey game. Maybe it's more than that. I don't know. It meant a lot to a lot of people, though, here in the States. And it was good to see USA get on top and watch them celebrate and do everything that they're doing right now. It's great. So big shout out to USA Hockey. We'll talk to Jamal Mayers about that coming up next. First Community brings us Hockey Sense each and every Friday. Blue Note Roofing, 314-920-5713. Call my boy David Novak today. Give him a shout. Get that free estimate. Works with all the big insurance companies. Hail and wind damage. Have you suffered any of that? Call him. If you're listening to the show, he will find you. He'll come take care of you. Siding, roof it, soffit, fascia, whatever it is you need, Blue Note Roofing will take care of you. Big shout out to David Novak, my man. Saw him last night. He was in a good mood with the Blues. Having a good performance last night against Seattle. Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. Download the app and do it today, and don't sleep on the party goods and all of that type of stuff that you find at dirt cheap. St. Patrick's Day parties, graduation parties, birthday parties, anniversary party, whatever you have, right around the corner. You get everything you need at dirt cheap. Best selection of beer, wine, and booze. Download the app. You can get free delivery if you live within 10 miles of a dirt cheap location. So download that app and do it today. Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop, baby. Lordo's Diamonds, right there in the heart of Ladue. Get that special someone, something special in your life. Are you looking to pop the question? There's no better place to do it than Lordo's Diamonds, man. It's been around for 70 years, and for good reason. Nobody treats you better than Mike and Jimmy Lordo at Lordo's Diamonds, right next to Truffles, in the heart of Ladue. 314-432-8008, baby. Lordo's Diamonds. Get that special someone, something special in your life. Best selection of engagement rings, but they got everything. They have men's jewelry too. Great selection of watches and chains and all of that. So get there and get there today. Tell them Andy Strickland sent you from Hockey Sense, baby. All right, let's step aside. We're at the Half Coast Studios. Our boy Aiden is here. Joy Dunne next here on Hockey Sense. Jamal Mayer's coming up later on in the show. Don't go anywhere. All right, back here on Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Joy Dunne. I don't know where to start with Joy, but it's crazy that all of a sudden she's playing in the Olympics. I feel like you're still like 11 years old, 12 years old, Joy. Like that. It's amazing how quickly everyone grows up, but everyone knew you were going to be on this path, and here you are. You've arrived on the biggest stage. Big shout out to you and your teammates. Congratulations on everything, Joy, and thanks for doing this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you too. I haven't been in St. Louis in a minute, so it's nice to have some familiar faces again.
How often do you come back?
I come back some parts in the summer and then Christmas, obviously, and then it just depends, from there.
All right, so fill us in real quick before we get into the Olympics. Ohio State, what kind of season are you guys having? I know you're putting up some numbers, and you have a big game tonight, starting a 3-game series against St. Thomas. So fill us in. Where are we? Where are we in the college hockey season right now?
Yeah, so we're currently second in the league. We're going into conference play. And so basically we're in quarterfinals, and hopefully we win this weekend and we'll head over actually to St. Thomas because they're hosting. And probably hopefully play Minnesota and then maybe Wisconsin, who knows who wins their bracket, and come back with a conference championship and then start NCAAs and then try to go for a national championship.
And you guys won the national title last year, right? So you're trying to repeat? Is that true?
No,
Or 2-year BO?
we won 2 years ago and then lost last year, but it's just been Wisconsin and I for the last 3 years. Wisconsin, Ohio State, back to back to back.
How many Olympic teammates did you have that play for Ohio State too?
So Hannah Bilka and Kayla Barnes, they currently play both at the Seattle Torn and the PWHL, but they played with me the year we won. They were the 5th years I was a freshman. And Bilka and Barnes were actually the ones that assisted on my goal, which we won the national championship with.
All right, so you played in so many big games, and you played in international competition before, world championships, obviously. There's just something different about the Olympics. And I was talking to Philip Broberg from the Blues yesterday, who played for Sweden, and how he told me he got emotional. He started the game, their first game of the tournament, against Italy. So obviously there was a lot of people in the stands, a lot of emotion in the stands, and how emotional he got just right before the puck dropped, knowing that he was about to play in the Olympics. What was the experience like for you to be in the Olympics, and compare that to playing just college games and, other games you've played throughout the course of your career?
Yeah, I mean, first off, like the fans were insane and we were very surprised by that. But like it was just awesome. Every game was so intense. Like everyone played it like it was their last. Like it's just so different there and so heightened. And like honestly, and shedding tears, like when we won gold, like we were all shedding tears and I was so surprised. I'm like, I never thought I would cry after winning, but I think it was just how much everyone had put into it and how much sacrifice people made and how many people helped people to get there. Like everyone was just feeling how big this was for them individually and for the team.
Where's your gold medal?
Oh yeah, let me go get that real quick.
I mean, I can't believe you're not wearing it right now.
I know, right? I know. I try to keep it safe, but I'm like slowly carrying it around with me here and there. But oh wait, I'm on blur, but it'll come in. Hold on.
Yeah.
How do I get the specs?
I love it. How heavy is that thing?
It's actually very heavy. Yeah. I don't know how to fix it, but you can kind of see
No, I
it.
can see it. I can see it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How often do
But
you just sit
it's
around and
heavy.
do you just stare at it?
Oh yeah, I'm like I don't think I believe it's there. I think when I show it to people, they really remind me. But there's a video when I first got it put on my neck. You could read my lips saying, "Oh, it's heavy." So I wasn't lying when everyone tries it themselves.
All right, describe the moment when you saw your family for the first time
Oh my god.
after the game.
I think when I put the medal in their hands and saw them react to it, it was just like a full circle moment of what they had done to help me get there and like everything in between. I mean, I know I couldn't have done like gotten there without them. So it was sweet. Like as much as pride I took into this, like they took as much pride. And so I just really was like, wow. It was I wish I could have like recorded the moment for myself.
All right, so 6 Dunn kids, and listen, seeing all you guys play, and I've had Jinsey on here and Joshua, I've interviewed him several times too, and I saw him earlier this season in Buffalo. Then they came to St. Louis. What was the family group chat like, and how much support did you get from your family throughout the course of the tournament? Because I know you're always getting support, but how happy were they for you?
Yeah, I mean, other than roasting her parents in the chat for their experience, it was all support. It was just good luck after good luck and love you, proud of you. And I think the sweetest part is people are like, "Oh, well, you have a gold and your sister has a silver." I'm like, honestly, none of us care about it. Like, whereas they're so happy for me, but they could care less if I went to the Olympics or won a medal. And I think that makes it so much sweeter when I do because they really just care about me as an individual and not as whatever I succeed in.
Yeah.
And so it was just so sweet. It was just like they were happy for me no matter what. And they knew how hard I worked for it and how much they've all helped. And so it was like it was a win together kind of thing. Is what the Team Done group chat was blowing up with.
All right, so I know you go to your siblings for everything, but, like, when it comes to hockey, like, if things aren't going your way for a particular game or you're a little bit down or you have a question hockey related, like, who's a sibling you're going to?
Josh, 100%. Josh and I will always talk hockey, and sometimes we'll have to like pull ourselves off to ask about how other things are. But he's just so good about like he's had so much success, but like he continues to be like it's about being a good person, a good teammate, and working hard. Like you can't control whether you do well in that or not. But I think he's really helped me to focus on the process, not the outcome, because you really have no control of that. But it's so fun talking about this. I'm like, and again, he's the same with me. He's like, you know what, just have fun. Like if you're having fun, like I'm proud of you, work hard. Like, and he helps me with the little details as well. But we like to talk a lot of hockey.
All right, so you're the youngest player on the team. When did you start looking at the Olympics as a goal and as a reality that you could make the team?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make the team ever since I could first start skating. Like I was like, oh, I'll be like I want like I was the last one was 16. I was like, oh, I want to be part of it. Obviously, I needed a lot more development then. But I always had it as a goal and a dream. And I think when I first got invited to my first worlds in 2023 in Utica, it was like the first stepping stone to get there. And so I was just again there, I was just trying to get experience and a little more of a rookie mindset, but it was sweet. And I think then it really set in. I'm like, hey, what am I looking forward to? Like, what is my goal? And so working with my coach here at Ohio State ever since then, I'm like, how can I keep getting better and keep putting myself in a position to be selected for the Olympic team?
Have you and Jinsey ever played on the same team before or no?
Not on ice hockey, only roller hockey.
Are you a
Yeah.
roller hockey player still too? Are you
Oh
still
my, I wish I would love to play some more roller hockey. I have a fear of getting injured and then getting in trouble with my ice hockey coaches. But when ice hockey's over, I think I'm gonna head back to roller for sure.
All right, so describe the pace of play at the Olympics in comparison to college hockey. Now you're coming back to college. Is there a significant drop off, or is the college pace still so high that it really isn't that much different?
Oh yeah, the college pace is still very high, especially like when we play Wisconsin or rivals. There's a lot of bad blood. Like that's as close as I think it would get to the Olympic standard. But on the Olympics, it's just so fast and so physical. Like again, we know what's on the line, and we're all willing to risk everything to get it. And so there's no love lost when we're playing against teams, even if you have friends on it. And so I think you can't ever replicate what the Olympic experience is like. But I'd say that pretty close is NCAA championship.
How much chirping is there on the ice, especially between you and Canada? And like the mentality of playing Canada, Joy, like do you do you guys prepare for another team, or do you just know that, hey, this is the team we're gonna have to go through. They're gonna have to go through us. We're gonna meet in the gold medal game. It's just the way it's gonna be. Or can you not look at it like that? You just have to prepare yourself for whoever you end up playing.
Yeah, I think again with Canada, we it's our biggest rival, for sure. And so I think seeing how it lined up and playing them in prelims and going gold medal, like we knew it was gonna be our toughest game in the gold medal game. And personally, I'm not a chirper, but we have some chirpers both ways. I'm more just I'll hit you and then walk away. But I think there's always an intensity. Like we've been in the rivalry series, like there you always want to win no matter if there's gold on the line or not. Obviously, gold is a little sweeter of a win. But I think the best that could replicate that rivalry is like Ohio State, Michigan. That's just that's being here and being a part of that. That's an insane rivalry, and I think
Mhm.
that's how it feels when we play the Canadian team.
You're not a chirper. I know you're not a chirper
Oh,
too. It's never
I
in your
tried my
style, is
best.
it?
No, I try my best, but I stutter and laugh. Like it's nothing clever either. It's just like like regular stuff people say.
All right, so when you look back at your upbringing and like playing with the boys, like I remember a game against Carshall where you got hit from behind. I mean, I think it was one of the playoff games at St. Peter's, like, and you were down. Like, I mean, you took a vicious cross check, but I also remember you dominating all the time and just being so confident and just playing at such a high level consistently all the time. So how was that for you, playing with the boys growing up, and how much did that set the table for you, now as you, embark in big time, international competition and a future professional, level?
Yeah. I mean, I love playing boys. It definitely wasn't always easy, especially on like the social side of like you guys get older, but I did really love it. And I think it did really set me up well to go into women's and keep the physicality up, especially in the PETA of now hitting, which will make it a lot easier transition for me personally. But yeah, I think a lot of the girls I talked to as well had experiences of playing boys and now they're playing at high level. So I think there's some connection of that as well. But yeah, sometimes I remember that exact game and I have a video of that hit because he got ejected and we had some bad blood with Carshield too. I think they ended up winning that series, but I really did. I loved it on a goalie side too. I love playing boys.
I know, remind people that because my nephew was in '05
Mhm.
and he played for the Fury, but so I used to come watch you guys play when he'd come in town or whatever. But you were a goalie too, right? I mean, did you like playing goalie, and did you ever consider becoming a full-time goalie? Like, when did you transition completely away from being the goalie, and how often would you play goal?
Yeah, no, I love playing goalie. I only ever did it on the boys side, and I would play boys. For boys, I'd play goalie and D, and then for girls, I'd play forward. And at the time, I'd play on the girls and boys team. And it was a blast. Mostly played goalie when I was with the boys team, and then I was getting to a point where my body, even as a 13-year-old, was like really starting to feel that, and so I was like, okay, I should probably decide on a position and I think just because of how much I only loved goalie and boys and how much I love scoring, and playing offense and girls, that's where I decided to be a forward. Um, and then my coaches were really awesome about it, of letting me like switch and just like be final. I think it made everyone's life easier too. They didn't have to figure out what position I was playing that day.
Mhm.
But there's some days I miss goalie and some days I'll throw in the girls' pads just to see if I still got it. But it's definitely something I still miss and hold dear.
Yeah, you were so good in goal too. Like, you could have been a goalie. Could you have been an Olympic goaltender, Joy?
I don't know about that. I know how unflexible I am now. I don't know how I could have maintained being flexible.
I know. I was looking at your guys' roster, like, it's crazy, like, I mean, you're an '05. You've got Hillary Knight, who's an '89, you know, Kendall Coyne, she's like a '92, I think. So you're the youngest player. Like, who are you hanging out with the most? And how are the veteran players, the older players, the 30-year-olds and older? Like, how were they with you throughout the course of the tournament?
Yeah, I think, well, my roommate was Abby Murphy, so I was probably closest with her. We spent a lot of time together. But I mean, you never really thought about it, like the ages. Like it was so easy and seamless to get along with all of them. They were just the best, willing to help me with anything. We would all be hanging out in the same places in the med room or in the dining hall. So like it was never like I never really like thought about the ages as much. It's like we were just teammates, and it's like, how can we get better? Like I'd be asking them questions on the ice, and so it was such a blast. Like I never really cared.
I love it. Um, who do you watch on your team and you catch yourself on the bench being like, "Oh my god, she's insane. This girl is unbelievable." Who's that
Oh,
person for you?
I mean, I don't know if I have one. I think there's everyone. Like I actually watch even for every position too, just from the vision of like the D, and everyone on offense. And I think there's things that I can take from everybody's game. And so I don't think there's one at all. I really couldn't decide. I think they all have something where I'm like, wow, like that's what makes them so good and that's what makes them stay in the game this long. I'm like, how can I do that? Because especially as a younger player, my thought is like, how can I play in the US program for as long as possible,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I watch that Caroline Harvey though. Sometimes I just watch her skate. She's like all the way down to the goal line and she's the first
Yeah.
one back, you know?
Yeah.
So I love it. But everyone brings their own unique skill set.
Mhm.
What was your reaction when Megan Keller scores the game winner?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Were
when
you,
I saw her there and then she made that move on the Canadian D and we were all no one could get off the bench quick enough. It was just pure joy. Like all we could do was scream. It was unreal and again, no one better, no one more deserving to get that goal. She's a fantastic defenseman. One I think the best in the world and she's an even better human off the ice, you
yeah.
know. So I think see her get that goal and to be a part of that as a team and what we worked for was amazing.
Hey, did your responsibility increase as the tournament went on? Like, I mean, you're out there playing with the top line, really, right? Towards the end of the tournament. So, how did that happen? And what was your mindset as your responsibility continued to get more and more throughout the course of the tournament?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it like that. I just thought of like I was literally like whatever I could do to help the team. You know, I remember Thompson, the goalie for Canada, was saying he's like I'd fill water bottles, and I was like I would do the same, like whatever to help the team. And so, I think you know as I was getting into more of a position to play with Carp and Knight, I just remember the reason I was getting that was just playing my game and having fun because honestly this Olympic experience was the most fun I ever had playing hockey. And so I think that's what made it so much easier to play into different roles, whatever the team needed. And again, like all of our lines were so good, you could do a million different ways. It was so our team was so deep, and so again, whatever. I remember talking with Robo, and he told me I was like, "Okay, yep, I'm in, ready. Like I'm ready to go. Whatever you need." And so, um, again, there wasn't much of like a worry as much as I was having fun, and I knew what I needed to do to help the team. And again, working with my brother and working with the sports side of like what makes my game mine to help. So yeah, I think it was. I think again, that's why I'm thankful I made my Olympic team now instead of when I was younger, even though that wasn't an option because I definitely needed that maturity.
All right. So, your brother's girlfriend plays for Canada, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
how well do you know her? And what was that handshake like after the game? And what were the emotions like for your brother? I know he was going for Team USA. Come on.
Yeah, it was really funny because like you know, I know US Canada like where we have our differences, but I really do love her and she's great. Her and my brother's relationship is the best. And so for me, like we think it's very funny. Or people are like, you gotta choose your sister. And I'm like, guys, they're basically married. Like we're waiting just for them to get it's coming. Like and so for me, like she's just the best and I'm super grateful for her and how she has been to my brother. And so it's kind of funny when people get so caught up in a game when I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like
Mhm.
we're gonna play hard. Like we'll hit each other and we'll say congrats at the end and we'll say thank our great game at the end. And so I do have we've taken family trips together and stuff like that. And so it is funny, but like we doesn't mean we take the gas off. Like we will still go very hard, which I appreciate when
Yeah.
one or the other are.
Yeah. How physical are the games? You've mentioned it a couple of times now. I mean, you played obviously on the boys' side before too. So, how physical are these games from a
Yeah.
checking
I
standpoint?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, insane. Like I think you're definitely watching yourself when you go into a corner. And especially in front. Like they're like we will no there's no I don't know how to say it. Like I think that I've seen every girl out there was pretty big and pretty strong. So you had to watch yourself like getting hit by me or Megan Keller or on their side like Ella Shelton or Renata Fast. Like you were gonna feel it the next day. And so I think everyone was very aware of, and especially with the P Dub girls having hitting already. So like there was that component. And then a lot of us play in the WCHA, which is pretty physical on the college side. So I think everyone was just like naturally gonna play physical on and hit against the wall.
All right, so take me inside the Olympic Village. What was that like? I was just did something with Gary Bettman, commissioner of the NHL, and he was over there, and he said, it's a village, but it's only the ice sports that are in this specific village, so everyone's kind of running into each other all the time. So, how much time did the women and the men hang out together? Were you seeing like the Canadian women all the time too? Like, break it down for me. What was it like inside the village?
Yeah, I mean, so they told me it was smaller than most, just because they were more villages spread apart, and it was just us, men's ice hockey, speed skating, bigger skating, and short track, and um, it was fun. Like I think we did run into people all the time. I ran into some of my teammates who were there for Sweden and Finland. We'd be hanging out with the men's team in the med room a lot because we shared med room, and when we'd watch other events because we have a TV in there. And after they won gold, we hung out with them for a bit in the dining hall. And we're just they're just asking about the game and things like that. It was a ton of fun. But yeah, it was really great meeting other athletes too. Like everyone was so nice. I got to meet Evan and Maddie, the figure skating couple, and they're just the sweetest, kindest people ever. And they all were meeting a bunch of speed skaters because of Niter and Britt was awesome. And so I mean, it was such a blast, and they treated us so well. So yeah.
Who on the men's team did you get to know? Like, who was like one of the coolest guys that you met on the men's team?
Oh, I don't know. I think they all honestly they all were like I feel like I may be biased, but like out of all the men's teams there, they were the most like welcoming and high and like chatty with other athletes. For sure. And I think we just got to get to know them all really well. They were all super supportive of us, which was awesome. And we were of them. And we got to watch a lot of their gold medal game. Unfortunately, we had to leave a little early, but also fortunately because our captain, Hillary Knight, was the flag bearer for the closing ceremonies. So yeah, I think they were all just awesome. It was really great getting to know them.
Yeah. What'd you make out of all the controversy, like with President Trump and everything about what he said about the women's side? Like, how did that affect you guys internally on the women's side? Like, help us understand like what your guys' reaction was to it.
Yeah, I think honestly, like I was just thinking about how proud I am of us for winning gold and the men's team for winning gold. Like what an accomplishment. Like never done in history before. And I think we were just so proud of both of us, and again, so much support from the men's and vice versa with us with them. And so yeah, I think we were just like, bringing gold home for our country, and like we love being American. Like I think that's all that mattered to us. And so yeah, I mean we're riding that high, but yeah, I think the double gold was insane.
Did you guys consider going to the White House? I mean, it just wouldn't work with your schedules. Like, explain, like, so people know why you guys didn't go, right? Because everyone tends to have their own opinion or think that they know. So, why were you guys unable to go? Was it because of your schedules back home?
Yeah, I think there are parts of that for sure. Going in playoff school and whatnot. I think there were, but again, like we just were happy to win gold and do that for our country, and happy the men were too. So um, that was the sweetest part of it all.
What did you think of the way the men celebrated? I mean, they're still celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, as they should. I mean, winning gold in what 54 or 56 years?
46.
No, 46 years. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's insane. Again, and we're still celebrating too for the women, like winning. That's the third of for us. And there's only I just saw this stat, but there's only six USA female athletes that have won two gold in the world. And so I think that's just insane to show how USA women's hockey is getting so much better. And it's great to see it from the men's and women's. And I think the best part is seeing how this is just going to skyrocket hockey for the United States, for more kids joining on the boys and girls side.
All right, so what's next on the calendar? I mean, obviously, you hope to make a long NCAA run, win a national championship, but is there a break ahead of the, for you in terms of the schedule into the summer, or like when's the next world championship and all that? Like, will you play in the worlds coming up this summer? Like, help us understand what your schedule is going to be like.
Yeah, so they just moved Worlds to November actually. So I have some time with that, hopefully. Again, gotta make the team and whatnot. But I definitely would take a break after the season. Just enjoying time with my team here. I love it here at Ohio State. It's absolutely the best. And so I think some rest will be needed. And then my oldest sister is due in March, and so I'm definitely want to head out there to meet my new nephew, and enjoy my time with my family.
Wow. All right, give me one memory that really stands out. And outside of winning gold and being on the ice with your teammates and all that, like, were you guys aware of how many people are watching back home and how big of a story this was back in the US?
Yeah, I don't think we could have ever been. Like, we tried our best. Like, we could definitely feel the love and support, but I think it was since we were like in it, it's harder to see it from outside. So, but we definitely felt the love as much as we could. Um, and it's still insane to think about.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you, Joy. And Jinxie's singing, by the way. We love her songs. My kids
Yeah.
listen to it on Alexa, you know? So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, she shoots, she scores. Yep, I'm very proud of my sister. She loves doing it too. And you know what? Hopefully we see it go somewhere. You know.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome, man. Okay. We'll see you soon. I hope we see you back here in St. Louis as well. I don't know when you have a chance to get back here. You talked about seeing your nephew, so maybe we'll see you sometime during the summer. But a big shout out to you. I wanted to get you on and at least, kind of have a conversation with you, Joyce. So that's awesome. Thanks for doing this. Best of luck tonight. Say hi to the family, and we're so proud of you here in St. Louis and obviously throughout the country. So keep it going.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really good talking to you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise, Joy. We'll talk soon. All right, so we had to make an adjustment. We have not been able to make contact with Jamal Mayers this morning. He's out on the West Coast, so it's very early out there. I had to do the show early this morning to accommodate Joy as well because she's got a morning skate and she's got a game. So we will catch up with Jamal next week. I wanted to get into a lot of the Olympic stuff, man. I thought it was unbelievable. I thought Jack Hughes and Austin Matthews were sensational. The defense as a whole for Team USA, I think, was a big difference. Connor Hellebuck answering a lot of questions. I think solidifying himself as a generational goaltender. Um, and it'll never be forgotten for what he did. That's why I said the NHL season has been so wacky this year. When you see Connor Hellebuck perform like that, and then you look at Winnipeg and the type of season that they've had, throw this year out the window and regroup and see next year what it looks like when it's a real normal schedule versus this condensed schedule that we've seen this season. But I thought, Canada and John Cooper, um, not really trusting his entire roster. I hate to say it like that, but just overplaying just a handful of guys. I mean, there were players that weren't even part of the rotation who are NHL stars, like a Sam Reinhart, for example, couldn't even hardly touch the ice. It's just a weird situation altogether. Bo Horvat, all these guys, Nick Suzuki. I mean, not non-factors. I know a couple of these guys scored some big goals throughout the course of the tournament, but they were just non-factors. Um, Before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to Jim Boomer Gordon as well. People know the name from NHL Network Radio on Sirius. This guy had been hosting that early afternoon time slot for years. I joined his show numerous times over the years. I mean, going back 20 years, 20 plus years, being on radio shows hosted by Jim Boomer Gordon as a guest. He did my radio show on a handful of occasions as well. Love talking hockey with him. I do a lot of interviews with different radio stations throughout North America routinely, all the time. And, some shows are easier to do than others. You just know which hosts do their homework, which ones understand the topic that we're getting into. They ask the right questions. They're able to have real casual conversation, informative conversation. He was one of those guys, man. I felt like I knew Boomer my entire life, to be honest with you. And to have him pass away over the weekend, I believe, after a long battle, 3.5 years with cancer. It really rocked me. It rocked a lot of people, I think, in hockey. So I want to give a shout out to everyone over there at NHL Network Radio. I mean, obviously, his family, his closest friends. Boomer meant a lot to a lot of people. I love listening to him. He had a unique style. There's a lot of great shows over there at NHL Network Radio. I think his show was the best one. I got to be honest with you. And there's other great ones too, but they're all different. But his ability to kind of dive inside the numbers and bring you the game within the game was a unique skill set that he had. Super, super talented. You could tell he paid attention. You could tell he understood the game. I was going through my text messages that I had with him. I mean, and there's hundreds and hundreds of text messages over the years. I mean, going back to whatever 2004, 2005. Um, and it was more than just hockey. I mean, there would be tornadoes that would rock St. Louis, and he would send me a text saying, "Hey, is everything okay?" The Blues win the Stanley Cup, he would send me a text message. Um, it was more than just hockey. We talk football, fantasy football, everything. Just an incredible, incredible talent. And I love going on the air with him. And those opportunities will never be the same. So I'll miss Jim Boomer Gordon. We'll never forget Boomer and everything he brought to the table. So I wanted to share that before we got out of here. First Community brings us Hockey Sense each and every week. Check out First Community. Look for the type of loan that suits you best and look for a location that's nearest you. There is a branch waiting to serve you today at First Community. We appreciate First Community, all they do for us here on Hockey Sense. These guys are amazing, amazing people. Um, um, so we appreciate everything they do for us. Glenn Barks and company, Laura Alfeld, just amazing people over there at First Community. And the support they give hockey and they give us is greatly appreciated. Frontenac Detailing, take your car in, get it detailed. Only the way Frontenac Detailing can do it right there in the location where the Honda Frontenac dealership is over off of Limburg in Frontenac. They're not affiliated with the Honda dealership, but their location is inside the Honda dealership. Kirkwood Fence, check that out as well. Some great people over there, great experts. They'll come over, give you a free estimate, get that fence, make your backyard pop, make it look as nice as it should. All different types of fencing you can get. They've got some incredible experts that'll come over there, look at your backyard, give you that estimate, and give you the suggestion of what they think will look best. So do that and do that today. All our friends over at Blue Note Roofing, Lordo's Diamonds, Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop, and of course everybody over at First Community. We'll catch up with Jamal next week. Would have liked to get him on this week, obviously, but with the time change, he must be sleeping. Somebody go knock on his hotel room door. Tell Jamal to wake up. It's time to do the show. So we'll catch up with him next week. Next Friday, I believe, is the trade deadline. We're going to be out of town in San Jose on the road. So we'll find a way to bring that show to you next week as well and get you updated on everything happening with the trade deadline. All right. So for everybody affiliated with this edition of Hockey Sense, it was great to get Joy Dunne on. For Aiden, everybody here at Half Coast Studios, I'm Andy Strickland, reminding you to keep your head up and your stick on the ice. And we will do it again next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.